Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Squid Trades with Infinite Money Trading, coming to you on a Monday night after a long day of trading and looking at charts. We just had Don put out his positions update video, his technical analysis, going over a bunch of his positions he's been in, running through where he sees the markets, where he was showing where he entered and exited a couple of his option plays, and where he's letting a couple of his other plays run. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel on YouTube, highly suggest you do. It's filled with tons of good information, as well as a link to our Discord as well. There's a completely free section where we list tons of books, PDFs, charts, videos, and thousands of other traders who like to trade stocks just like you. Definitely a good group of guys and girls, so definitely should check it out. Tonight, going to be doing a first video for me where I actually talk about some penny stocks. Just wanted to switch it up a bit. I know we have a diverse audience where we try to pull people in from Twitter who like to look at the penny stocks, and we also like to show those same people that making big gains with smaller funds on options is just as doable with less risk. But I mean, I am highly fascinated with the penny world. I like the action that goes on. I like the Twitter personalities. It's just kind of fun to be involved and be the one person on Twitter who doesn't put out PRs and hype and a bunch of rumors around all these stocks. I like to keep the charts being charts and try to drown out all the extra noise. It kind of helps make everything a little bit easier. So we're just going to start with a couple of the penny stocks tonight. I'm going to go back over to some of our other bigger plays later on, just to show those who want to watch just what is possible. So let's just start and get on the list with BNGO. This is one that I've been waiting for the gaps below to fill. Everybody who's kind of following our account knows that on all penny stocks where I see pumps, usually we see gaps fill below before anything bounces. And as we noted on our tweets, we almost saw the second gap fill. Honestly, something like this, give it another month, and maybe that 52 will fill again. Where we sit right now, off the initial Fibonacci lines, kind of sitting at that 0.5 fib, which doesn't mean much to me right now. Just the fact that we're kind of using that as a support line around like 81, 82 cents. Isn't a bad thing per se. Looking at the volume, it's definitely, you can tell it's drying up from what we had about a week or two ago. I also see that earnings is coming in, which could be a scary thought, seeing as how the prices advanced so much. Looking back at the earnings, they were doing negative 30 cents a share. Back when the price was 40 cents, so hard to justify everything they're doing right now, even at a higher price. And they are projected 0.9 cents, or 9 cents per share lost. So anything more than that, definitely think we see 73 or even 64 in the near future. So let's give it a couple days, see where it lands. If you want to try to take a crack at this, obviously if you were able to break above the 618 fib, probably around like 90 cents. Again, we could probably shoot for $1. I don't see $1.15 coming in the near future. Obviously, we're getting hit with tons of good news as well, leading up to the earnings. But at the same time, like I said, usually on small caps, when you're just getting bombarded with good news, usually bad news is right around the corner. So with all penny stocks, we'll see where this one goes. I'll keep an eye on it. I just want to come back to BYFC just because at this point it's just such a meme stock. It really sucked just to see so many people start trading stocks and run into a unfortunate situation here where they go on Twitter and they see people with big names and tons of followers, and these people look credible, and so when someone says, "Oh, the stock's gonna run," and it does, and it goes from $1.93 to $7, and comes crashing back down. It really sucks to see that happen in the trading community, especially knowing how many people are entering the markets trying to make some money for themselves, and a lot of people are out of jobs. So these are just stocks that if I keep doing these videos, I'll pull up just to remind people that there are bad actors out there, and not everyone wants to help each other, especially stuff like this. It was very easy to see. Big volume coming in right before the pump, and I think that was Black Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, or Blackout Tuesday, and we were supposed to support black-owned businesses, and as you can see, we did get a pump all the way up 280%, and we took that all the way back down, close to 72% back down if you bought anywhere up there. Definitely holding a bag, and yeah, it really sucks to see that. So I hope anybody who thought about playing it and didn't was able to catch it. I hope the people who were able to play it and make some money off of it, as long as you weren't a pumper, great. People always come back and say, "Well, I made money." Yeah, I don't care. You made money. Good. You know how to trade. There's thousands of other people who might be watching this video who are trying to learn, and those are the people that we're trying to find. This is a quarantine project that me and a buddy started, so just something we can do to try to help people is warn everyone of the pitfalls of falling for these sort of scams, and hopefully it doesn't happen again. Speaking of CHFS, this was a big one on the radar. Lots of pumpers out in droves saying this was going to be the one, this was going to go I think this is a biotech company, I don't even remember which one this was. But all I know is was tracking it, thought it was going to go down, spiked another 30%, and I thought this was going to be the one. I was wrong. Right around that dollar range, I was like, they got me. But of course, give it a couple days, and we see that from the top down to the bottom, 45%. So, anyone who was told to go chase and buy in up here, down 30% if they held through. I mean, I don't know why you would, but again, lots of new people trying to learn their lesson and learn how to trade. This definitely was not the stock to start your account off with. But, if you're looking for a entry point, you're basically down at this new level, I guess old level, so to speak, of support and resistance. If you're trying to load up something in the 60 range, maybe put a stop loss at the 55. There's no reason it should go anywhere in this range unless the stock's really going to take a beating. So definitely trying to get that pop, make a little quick scalp, or even make some of your money back. This would not be a bad play down in this range. But again, we encourage everybody to look for bigger and better plays. Up next, everybody's favorite, IDX, Ideonomics. According to a couple people on Twitter, the scam of the century. This was brutal for no reason. Definitely, I believe I put a tweet out on Twitter looking at the one of the, I guess, spikes and the drops, and definitely seeing a double bottom pattern kind of form, which is pretty solid considering the lack of volume that was able to move this up and down. Right where I drew my resistance line, we did see a little bit of a breakout. Again, I believe earnings, someone can quote me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if earnings were actually released or not, so we can always check. After hours, minus 30, so not really too sure what to make of it. Ideonomics sees Q2 revenue 4.7 million, business model gains traction, seeking alpha, slides 15% after wider loss. So we'll probably be back down at 148. So right under that resistance line again. So I guess, yeah, no reason to not load up in this range still. If this truly is going to be a brand of the future, there's no reason why picking up 150, 200 shares isn't going to break your bank and might make a good long-term swing. But again, tons of people bought in. What was the price? $4 at the top. Yeah, no reason to buy all the way up top. Definitely somewhere in here for the time being. But again, a lot of shady stuff happened. Everyone wants to blame Hindenburg. But again, you guys listen to people who just said buy, and no real logic behind it other than it's going to make you all rich. So whenever I just see that, time to avoid those sort of stocks. Jaguar Health, I believe this was a COVID play, like all the others. Regardless, let's adjust these fibs real quick, see where we stand. For those who are just watching for the first time, if you do decide to jump into our Discord, there is some very good books on Fibonacci's. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. It is important to read and figure out what works best for you and where to find the lines. So if you find the lines, it helps find everything else. So as you can see, we kind of started at the bottom of this trend, was able to move all the way to the top, so that is my top to bottom. And so the chart kind of works its way inside, and right now we're kind of sitting at the peak of this, around this 81-cent area. I'm kind of bouncing between 74 and 81, which, if it decides to ride in this range, you're sitting at like an 8% scalp if you can do it over and over for a couple times. But again, earnings are tomorrow. We've seen elevated prices, so just like everything else that's in small stock land, I'd probably anticipate the stock dropping a bit. I do see positive headlines. Someone has a 10% stake. I do see the shelf offering, common stock coming in. It was June 5th. But yeah, here it is. It's a COVID play. So just like every other biotech company that says they're a COVID play, even the maker of Band-Aids are now, I guess it's Johnson & Johnson. Everybody's a COVID play at this point. So, don't believe the hype, especially in Pennyland. Everything's going to pop. Everything's going to fade back down. Just play between the lines. It's really not worth it with all the misinformation that's being spread. But yeah, let's see where earnings takes us tomorrow. On to the next one, KTOV, one of the ones I love to hate, simply because how many times the pumpers want to pump it, plus all the other shady shit that went on. Like I saw something about the upper management giving themselves huge bonuses off the offerings. I saw other stuff about they were going to be charging like $1,000 for prescription of that arthritis medicine. I could be wrong, but I mean, it's just stuff I see on Twitter and stuff that like I try to keep up with amongst all other things. But yeah, we've been tracking Kitov, I guess you want to say. Just kind of in this channel, even before the pumpers got a hold of it in this range. I think back then is when they did the initial offerings that when it first caught my eye. But we've kind of just been riding this channel onward and upward, and we've kind of found this support slash resistance line around 86. And we kind of caught this bounce off this channel. I know that there were people on Twitter saying, oh, how could you even go bullish on this? You talk so much shit. But, if the chart says something's going to be bullish for a hot second, like, yeah, I'll tell you guys, I think it's going to be bullish for a second. So, I mean, for right now, can kind of see a flag starting to form. There's been, I think, multiple offerings at these upper levels, so I don't think there's any real reason to be concerned with buying in here. Any break below 80, I think, would probably be a cause for concern at this point. RSI is looking good, SMI, MACD, nothing's off the charts. You're seeing a little bit of volume on the 15-minute, little spikes, but I mean nothing that would indicate people are getting ready to pump it again, and nothing to indicate that anybody's sitting there ready to just snipe off any pump that comes along. So yeah, it definitely has my seal of approval to possibly buy back in, but again, I avoid these like for reasons as such, like this stock. Novin seemed to be the last big penny pumper stock. Had a lot of Kitov tendencies. We had a little gap fill. Played the fibs almost perfectly. We had a bearish flag, which came out fairly nicely. Was good for a, well, if you want to play it all the way down, but any realistic person would have probably at least dumped it. Here for a 27% gain, here for a 37% gain, and if they were smart enough, almost a 50% drop from its highs. Just, again, people riding hype, people thinking they're going to get rich overnight. It's not going to happen, especially in Pennyland, unless you are the people masterminding pumps, or unless you are the person loading the boat blindly, not knowing that something's going to happen. In my opinion, you've probably already lost the game. Yeah, if we switch this out to the daily chart, I see no reason why this would not drop all the way back down to 50. Not too many bids in this area, just have this one green candle, but not much support on the way back down if it decides to fail. It does, however, seem to hold the 65 cent, 66 range. So it could also be room for a pop. I just say that because the huge sell-off, most of the people who I think are bag holding would probably either dump or they probably look to average down at this level. So with that being said, probably stop losses around 57 and load up around this level and hope that you get a repop, maybe some good news. Again, everything is just left up to people who want to pump, or the company trying to put out some good information. But just like we've just seen with a ton of other penny stocks, offerings are always right around the corner, so be careful. Speaking of offerings, Entech. This was literally almost a replica of Novin. Ride the wave all the way up and have a crash at the bottom at 50%. So whoever's talking about these and whoever's finding these magic stocks, they have a real knack for finding stocks that go from, what is that? I have to bring it out here. That go 200% up and lose half its value in a week and a half. I don't know. I've never seen any other stock picker be able to do it as consistently as the people I talk about on our Twitter. But where we sit right now, with most of the penny stocks that kind of travel in a range, I think I noted it on one of my tweets earlier. I think we had this gap that kind of was filling, and now we've just kind of seen it almost ping pong back and forth every day in this zone, which would be good if you didn't have PDT rolls or you just wanted to wait every 2 days. You're basically just swinging 12% if you can make that gain happen. I don't see anything wrong with that. I also don't see anything wrong with the reload. The only thing to watch out for is minus the 1 day. There's really not much support or a case for it below. But again, you just had an offering, so there's going to be at least somebody buying in at a higher share price. So not too much to worry here if you're looking about a multi-month swing as well. So just buyer beware, but at the same time, just be careful. Put your stop losses in. UAVS, the stock I love to hate, and as many people online have seen, my only response to this is, where is the Amazon collab? Only because at this point it's just a meme, and I'm tired of people saying it's going to happen when nobody knows if it's going to happen. You have a warehouse next to another warehouse, and if that was the case, like, you could just say like Starbucks was working with Dunkin' Donuts if you were in the city, because every Starbucks is 2 or 3 blocks away from Dunkin' Donuts. But clearly that's not the case. And just as with this stock, um, you know, it can make sense for Amazon to want to partner up with somebody, but at the same time, in my opinion, I've seen Amazon kind of build their own in-house drones. You are in the middle of Kansas. Excuse me. You're in the middle of Kansas, so I see the case for them delivering small packages out in the middle of nowhere. It would make sense, but at the same time, they are not heavy machinery drones. They are small, from what I've seen. Um, I think it's gonna. I think it's a stretch, and if we don't get the news, a lot of people who have been up in this zone are definitely gonna get wrecked when this drops back down to like 150 or even lower. Just because nobody's gonna want a drone that's dropping seeds in a field. It just doesn't make sense. But this will just remain my personal thesis. And again, I'm more than happy to be wrong. I haven't had to apologize for a bad pick on any of my penny stock analysis yet. The key is what goes up must come down. So we'll see. Vissel, it is. So we got that full gap fill all the way across. About time. Only took 2 months. Yeah, this is definitely one that, again, I saw a lot of people get wrecked on just because people bought into the hype of the cameras. And from what I've said from the beginning, I could go buy the iPhone X or whatever, have the same high def capabilities, and be able to stream just as good as they can with their headsets. I guess they do have some other satellite technology, but at the same time, I just didn't see the appeal. Again, you're working with a company that just did a 1-for-6 reverse stock split. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to pump it, maybe get an offering in there, but at this point, the stock's kind of dipped. Not really worth it at this point. Again, just something to stay away from, in my opinion. Which takes us to our last I love to hate this stock, which is Expa. I've said it multiple times. If you went and looked online and you looked at the CEO, you had a CEO who was pumping his coffee company and really didn't even care about his failing spa business, it seemed, until COVID happened. And obviously the guy's an entrepreneur, so yeah, he's here to take advantage of a situation. So if he can go build out all his spas, possibly get some grant money, or possibly unload some of his dead shares from a spa company, why not? I don't fault the guy, but at the same time, personally, I don't understand why people would want to go sit in an airport to go get tested. I get the concept completely. I just don't understand, why. Who in their right mind is going to say, hey, I'm going to go skip the bar, let me go get a swab shoved up my nose and see if I have the virus. And to my knowledge right now, we don't have a rapid test. We don't have something where you can find out right away. So I just don't see the point of getting tested before you hop on a plane. At that point, you've already infected the whole plane. You've already infected most people in the area that's around you if you aren't wearing your mask, and if they aren't wearing a mask. And then on top of that, you guys want to get so hype on every possible vaccine play. If we discover a vaccine or we discover a cure, like, what happens to this business model? In 2 or 3 years, it just kind of goes away. So obviously, as everybody knows, this is just a swing if you're going to try to make some money. I don't see this as being a long hold unless we can't figure out a cure for coronavirus in the next year and a half. And even when that happens, I'd really love to see pictures of a express spa filled to the brim with foreign and domestic travelers waiting to get tested at the airport. But yeah, as of right now, I do see a kind of a bullish flag forming. We saw today that it kind of dipped to the bottom of the channel that we had, dipping outside of the main channel. So if it does break below, there's no reason why $3 doesn't happen again. There's not too much news going on with this unless they say they have their first grand opening. As of, I guess, forever, it's still just been speculation. So again, something to watch. Another one of those stocks where just like UAVS, I'll be willing to eat my own words, but not ready yet. Let's just see what tomorrow brings. But that's kind of it for my penny rundown. Just wanted to talk a little bit and go over what I saw in a couple of these plays. If we go over to some of our charted stocks, these are stocks that we've worked with in our Discord, both in the premium section as well as the free section. We do like to give out charts on a daily basis, as well as help the users in our group try to play bigger and smarter stocks. So I just had a couple that I flagged. Thought you guys might like them. The first one we looked at was FedEx. We tracked this closer to, I guess, right around mid-July when we started hitting this resistance zone. Because I think one of our members requested it, and then when we looked at this stock, one of the first things that just stuck out to me was the multi-year, or I guess the multi-month rejection at this 165, 166 level. Every time we were able to break out, it just got instantly rejected. Usually, or a couple times due to earnings, a couple times just because I think that was a good resistance area, especially if you look below and see the channel that kind of formed. Would have made for a good swing or scalp or whatever you want to call it. But as we approached the breakout again of this resistance zone, I did talk to a couple of the guys in the group, and we did decide that anywhere around like 174, 175 would probably be the best area to try to buy in. I mean, we do preach buy it, support, sell resistance, but at the same time, it does not hurt to buy once we think there's a confirmed breakout. And it definitely shows that there was, and we got huge gains off of it. We had a guy turn $700 into 10,000, which is great from his contracts. But once we saw this breakout, said buy around 175, and a couple of our users were able to catch that 15% run, which is great. The next one we're going to look at is TOL, T-O-L. This is definitely a housing play, kind of piggybacked on Zillow, although they're little, not too related. They both have to do with housing. We first found the wedge when it broke out of the channel. Saw the breakout here as super bullish. Next couple of days we saw consolidation during dividends, another pop, another consolidation, and we see it rising some more. Wouldn't be surprised to see this at 42, 45 in the next couple of days. Definitely is a gap up at the top, which is great. You guys all know how much I love to see gaps fill. So if that is the case, hopefully after we breach this $40 level, 42, 43, and 44 should probably be no problem. Just something I'm keeping my eye on. Would definitely recommend putting this one on your watch list. Dropping down to MTZ, one of the plays that was actually charted about 2 or 3 days ago off of one of our Discord members' requests. I like the pattern that was spotted. Definitely see a support line right around here. Noting the W bottom, double bottom, positive earnings. Well, I guess better than expected. Not better than expected, but right on par, I guess, for earnings. It has been a beaten down stock, so no surprise that investors use this as an opportunity to buy back in, possibly get better guidance. But we do see this trying to break out of its old resistance. And if we can get that resistance push over 47, You know, it's kind of like the FedEx. Once there's no place for bids to be set and nobody's looking up here, going to get a lot more volatile, and we'll probably push for 60 would be a price target I would be looking for before considering bailing out of this one. So this will be our last one. Bank of America. We checked XLF a little earlier today on the ETFs. The ETF for banking, everything looked a little bit slower, not as volatile, and not getting the same amount of gains. I think the big headlines were that Buffett threw a bunch of money into Bank of America. I guess it's his way of trying to get some money moving. Banks have been beaten down heavily. Wells Fargo didn't make sense to put his money into. Morgan Stanley, JPM. I mean, although good plays, I'd have to dig more into it. I'm not sure why Buffett went with Bank of America, but he did. We do catch this wedge that was forming. Try to find the trend line almost back, basically like lined up to the bottom of our channel. And we do see that we are approaching the resistance again, right around this, I guess, 27 line. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got rejected in the next day or two. Possibly would look for a re-entry around the $24-$25 range if I was going to try to swing this again. I just thought it was fairly interesting to see one of the big bank stocks taking off. Yeah, guys, that's kind of it for my analysis. Kind of rambled on a little bit. If you wanted to stick around and watch these charts with me, definitely glad you guys are supporting us. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, the links to our Discord are going to be there for you as well. Hope you guys were able to learn some things, maybe take away a little bit of how we have a thought process when going through our penny stocks and our normal charts. If you guys are interested in learning more, please hit me up in the Discord. Again, I am Squid Trades, and my partner is Don Log. So we hope to talk to you guys soon. Hit us up with any questions in the comments. We'll see you next time. Bye.